High-end audio isn't just about what you plug in. It's also about what you plug it into. The Synergistic Research PowerCell 14 promises to clean the power, and at this level, even small improvements can make a huge difference. But does it do anything, or is it just another fancy power strip? Press the like button and let's investigate. The Synergistic Research PowerCell 14 is one of those components you can't help but stop and look at. It doesn't feel like a typical power conditioner at all. It's more like a high-end amplifier that just happens to have outlets on the back. The casework is completely overbuilt in the best way. The top panel combines a real carbon fiber composite with a thick layer of plexiglass. That way you can actually see inside, and the front panel is finished with a matching glass panel that gives you an even better view of the circuit. None of this is cheap flimsy stuff. It's solid, very weighty, again like an amplifier, and well put together, as I like to say. It gives off that no compromise vibe even before you start wiring everything up. This is the Schuko version. So across the rear you get 14 heavy-duty outlets arranged in 3 separate banks. The spacing is generous, which is a lifesaver if you're running chunky, high-end power cables or oversized plugs. Nothing feels cramped. Each outlet is built to grip tight without feeling like you're forcing it. And everything about the back panel just screams precision. What's interesting is that when you plug things in, there is a satisfying, almost tactile feel to it. I have never had that happen with any other device. We'll get to why this is the case later on. The front is clean and almost minimalist, which lets the materials do the talking. But what really catches your eye is what's inside. Through those windows you can see a beautiful glow from the internal lighting. And Synergistic lets you pick the color. You can cycle through a handful of shades until it matches your system or the mood in the room. It's a small touch, but when the lights are low, it gives the whole setup a kind of dramatic look that makes it feel really special. Even the little details are sorted. The feet are made from real carbon fiber and are well damped, so the unit sits planted and stable on a rack or directly on the floor. Once again, the weight is substantial. Heavy enough that you know it's packed with serious hardware, but you can still handle it with no extra help. There is no USB port on this Schuko variant, but the US version is equipped with a 5V USB output on the back. Finally, a power switch that feels like it's going to last a lifetime. So many others I have used have failed miserably. If you are still watching, why not subscribe to this channel? The PowerCell 14 isn't just a fancy power strip, it's loaded with tech that's meant to improve how your entire system behaves, not just clean up the AC. One of the core pieces is its redesigned electromagnetic EM cells. And these aren't small tweaks. Synergistic Research increased the surface area of those cells by a factor of 100. The EM cells also double up as supercapacitors, which means during musical peaks, your gear can draw extra current more cleanly than when you're plugged into the wall. There is also the ULF plus DC bias system. ULF stands for ultra low frequency. They use ULF biasing together with DC to tame high frequency noise and RF interference that can otherwise degrade clarity and raise the noise floor. You get 3 selectable bias settings, allowing you to tune the response a little, depending on your preferences or what your system really needs. Another key tech is the UEF tuning getting upgraded with 24-karat gold circuits. These are part of the company's unified energy field treatment. Gold UEF tuning is supposed to bring richer harmonics and a more musical flow. It's probably rather subtle, but for gear at this level, these tweaks do add up. There is also graphene treatment throughout the unit, and a massive pure silver ground strap that's been applied internally, all meant to reduce the noise and stabilize the ground reference. Here are the meat and potato numbers. It has 14 UEF Purple 2.0 outlets. That's all 14 outlets designed to provide filtered, conditioned AC to everything you plug in. More outlets allow more components in your system to benefit directly. The unit features point-to-point wiring using 10-gauge silver matrix wire. That's meant to ensure low resistance and maintain the integrity of current when your system really needs it. It weighs about 28 pounds or 12 kilos. That weight surely helps with vibration damping. And since we have a lot of supercapacitors on steroids, that's pretty important. In the US version, it's rated for 20 amps at 125 volts. Internationally, it's 16 amps at 250 volts. So it can supply plenty of juice for the most power-hungry components. The internal active cell area is over 5,000 square centimeters. Plus, in addition to that, we have 7 second-generation SRX folded EM cells inside. The bigger cell area translates into greater capacity to filter and handle transient loads without sagging. It includes a high-purity silver ground strap measuring around 62 square centimeters. Grounding in HiFi is crucial for keeping hum and interference down. Lastly, one more spec. It has 3 isolated output banks, so you can separate analog and digital gear to reduce interaction or noise between the components. When I introduced the PowerCell 14 into my system, it was like somebody quietly cleaned the windows between me and the speakers. The first thing I noticed was how much quieter the background became. It's not really about turning the noise floor into silence that you can measure with a meter. It's the way soft reverbs and trailing decays are easier to follow because they are no longer masked by this low-level garbage. Recordings I know inside out had more punch and micro detail without the slight compression that occurs when your AC line is a little bit dirty. It doesn't artificially hype anything. It just lets your components pull the current whenever they need to. So the sound feels more immediate and effortless. Everything starts and stops with a little more authority. Tonally, the PowerCell 14 is remarkably neutral. I didn't hear any obvious tilt toward warmth or brightness, which is exactly what you want from a power conditioner. Unlike some power products that can smooth things over so much that you lose texture, this one keeps the tonal balance perfectly intact. It's actually delivering a more natural presentation than without it. Vocals retain body and natural sibilance, but the digital glare on top has been reduced by a fair bit. Bass is faster than ever before and surprisingly deep. The improvements to imaging and soundstage are where this unit really earns its price point. With the PowerCell in place, the stereo field locks in more tightly. Instruments occupy more defined positions, and the stage itself opens up, stretching a little wider and more noticeably deeper. On good recordings, you get a clearer sense of the room boundaries and the distance between the front row performance and the back wall. It's not magic, it simply lowers the noise floor and the subtle timing smear that normally blurs those cues. What's just as impressive is what it doesn't do. There is no added color and no forced hi-fi sparkle. If anything, it steps out of the way and lets your components show what they can really do. I took the PowerCell in and out of my system multiple times over a couple of weeks, and each time I went back to a plain power strip, I missed the sense of calm and coherence it brings. It's not about boosting one frequency or another just like EQ. It's about removing a layer of dirt you didn't know was there until it's gone. Long listening sessions confirm that these changes hold across different types of gear and music. It doesn't turn a modest setup into a mega system, but it raises the ceiling of what your existing gear can deliver, and what it can do in a well set up system is mind-blowing.